Hello and welcome, my name's Elizabeth Goddard from Revive Your Soul. In this video I want to talk about understanding what it is that's keeping you trapped, why you keep thinking about them and why you want them back in your life. Channel, I talk a lot on here about emotional abuse and healing the original wound. I want you to help you understand the process, to understand what happened, to understand the healing journey, and to acknowledge the pain. When you come out of an emotionally abusive relationship, you're left confused and wondering what you did wrong. Every cell in your body is screaming with pain, and your mind cannot understand what's happened. You're left wanting to get back in that relationship, somewhere that felt safe to you, and you're willing to do anything and accept anything for that to happen. I've spoken in a few videos about trauma bonding and why it's so painful. All the information you disclosed at the beginning of the relationship, they took to create a character. And I've talked in other videos about the bonds that we create with people. These are usually built over time when we learn to trust people. And it is this process that makes us more important to each other. But in this relationship, it was used as a manipulation tool to gain power and control over you. And because they are unable to create bonds, it's so easy for them to walk away. And it's this process of trauma bonding that firstly made it hard for you to enforce your boundaries, but it now makes it impossible for you to stay away from them. And they created these bonds by traumatizing you, by triangulation, creating jealousy and punishing you. They got you hooked and confused. And they told you that they were the only person that cared for you, the only person that looked after you, the only person that truly loved you. And they followed this by creating drama, by their put downs, by their manipulation. And when they threatened your safety by their bad behaviour, it was them you turned to for protection. You then go on to rationalise their behaviour because they've told you so many times how much they care for you. So when the relationship finishes, your stress levels are so high, you're experiencing fear. And they, on the other hand, play the victim, and you're left believing this is all your fault. They put themselves in the position of your caregiver, manufacturing a love that you may never have experienced before. You listened to them and not yourself when your gut was telling you, screaming at you, no, get out. You listened to them, believing they were the ones that you should be trusting. So when the relationship's over, that bond is so strong that you look at ways of getting back. And they've taken you several times around that cycle of abuse, of idealisation, devaluation and discard. If only you can get back on that pedestal where they were love bombing you, where you were being treated like a queen, like a princess, when you're getting the love and attention you got used to, you think everything is going to be okay. It was here you were getting the hits of oxytocin, but you hadn't realised you were getting addicted to that feeling and to the dopamine that was being released, that's produced by the brain's reward centre. This was a game to them, and they rewarded you for your good behaviour, and then they manipulated you by changing the rules, and this confused you. You'd associated your good behaviour with that good feeling, that feeling of love, and you began to modify your behaviour to keep receiving it. But what you didn't understand was too much dopamine in a relationship indicates an unhealthy emotional attachment to another person. And it's not until the end of the relationship, when your world has crashed around you, that you start to question. You start to wonder what you did wrong. Nothing makes sense. And from outside the relationship, people looking in, they thought you were a perfect couple. You were being told how lucky you were, and you get stuck in a cycle of wondering what you did wrong. They told you, that's really important, they told you you couldn't live without them. They told you how amazing they were. They told you how no one had ever loved you like they did. They told you this, and it's like Chinese water torture. Drip, drip, dripping this information in. It's these emotions that keep you trapped. People equate this to being like an addict going through withdrawal. You were traumatized through the manipulation of your emotions. You were trapped on a merry-go-round and you couldn't get off. They trained you to believe them and not other people, making you believe that they were the only person that you could trust, the only person that you could turn to. Not only do they devalue you, they devalue your friends and your family. You might hear people warning you about the relationship, but you can't stop that ride. You were trapped, hooked up to your drug of choice, which is them. And each time you question their behaviour, they tell you you're too sensitive, you've misunderstood the situation, you've got it wrong, your gut feeling is not right. They remind you of the other relationships you've been in and point out that they are not like those people. They tell you that you're working from this place, you're taking past experiences and living in the past and using that to judge them. But look at the patterns, look at the behaviour and listen to your body. They are very similar. They're just wearing a different mask. You picked up on words and phrases that you'd heard before and a red flag went up, and maybe that's why you were questioning them. And you justify this. They've told you, again, they've told you, you were the only person that ever understood them, and you believed it. And then they moved on, giving that role to somebody else. And you watch somebody else step into your shoes, step into the fake future you created with them. Everything inside you is screaming and you're in withdrawal, and all you want is that hormone rush that you got addicted to. You'd adjusted your behaviour in the relationship to get that hit of hormones, and you protected the relationship for this purpose, not realising you were hooked. And when you have the courage to tell people what's happened, they can't believe it. The emotional abuser or toxic person wore a public mask, and people will struggle to understand what you went through. And this is why it's so important to find a tribe, to find a group of people that really understand what you've experienced. And you may have people just like you that feel cheated by them, but they still won't be able to understand the bonds that you have to untangle from. Even though you saw the red flags and you knew you should have walked away, you were trapped by these bonds, and they've scrambled your brain. In telecommunications, a scrambler is a device that manipulates a data stream before it transmits it. And this is what they've done to you. Your thoughts and your emotions are no longer yours. It's as if they've reprogrammed you. So when you have your own thoughts and emotions, it's coded into a language you don't understand. Your rational thoughts go through this program and get scrambled. Because you can't rationalise what's happened, you go over and over the relationship, believing this is all your fault. You wonder if you'd done something or said something differently, if you'd still be in this place. And you look at ways of how to get them back in your life, believing they were the only person you could trust. So what can you do to remove the scrambling process? To stop that pain? To reprogram your brain? When that pain or emotion comes, let it flow through you. Try breathing through it. A bit like a contraction, or when you stub your toe or tread on Lego or a stone in bare feet. If you need to cry, let those tears flow. You have so much unspent love to give, and you need to grieve the fake future, the fake person. And crying until you have nothing left is so cathartic. I believe that taking responsibility for the role you played in this relationship is the stepping stone to your healing. By acknowledging the role you played and the wounds you have is the key. By saying yes and inserting their bad behaviour. Yes, I saw the red flags. Yes, I should have ended the relationship earlier. And I forgive myself can help so much. They saw your wounds and they exploited them. And during that period of questioning, right at the beginning of the relationship, it's like they were quizzing you on what you would put up with, what barriers they could break down, what you've been through before in other relationships and what other people have got away with, and they will push those boundaries even further. But you have now been given this chance to heal yourself, and they will never get that chance. Because nothing's ever their fault, and they will never take responsibility for their actions. They will never understand what it is like. They are damaged children hiding behind a mask. No one deserves to be treated the way you were treated. No one asks to be abused. You might be experiencing emotions of abandonment, shame, and guilt. This is your chance to put yourself back together and feel whole. Maybe an experience you've never felt before. Breaking the ties with them will give you time and space to breathe, but it is very painful. What you will experience is like a junkie trying to get a fix. I talk a lot about grounding, particularly when the thought process takes over, if only and maybe, and you're justifying their behaviour. These thoughts can be paralysing and keep you trapped. And you're trapped because on some level you didn't see this as abuse. This relationship felt safe to you. And that might be because you've experienced this somewhere else in your life. Maybe you were the scapegoat in the family growing up. You've heard the words or experienced a similar emotion before. Your thoughts may ruminate and you may belittle yourself as you have done in other relationships. You will justify your behaviour, but that's different from taking responsibility for the role you played in the relationship. Take your focus through your breath from the top of your head to your sacral, which is just below your navel, and feel the breath draw down through your body. When these questions come up, ask yourself, are they true? When you need to contact them or you're in a period of craving that need or attention, count backwards from 5. You might even benefit from reparenting yourself, talking to your inner child, telling her what she needed to hear growing up. It is your responsibility to heal yourself. It isn't your responsibility to heal anybody else. This is a gift, and I know it does not feel like it at the moment, but I hope one day you will look back and realise how far you have come. So in this video, I want to talk about understanding what was keeping you trapped, why you were still thinking about them, and why you want them back in your life. They tell you a lot of things that you then begin to believe and manipulate you and scramble your thoughts. So I hope you got something from this video. If you did, please like and share and comment. If you've got any ideas, anything that helped you with your healing, please add those in the comments as well. I'm sending you loads and loads and loads of love.